Aloha, everyone. Joshua Hayes at BigWaveTrading.com. Wow, this market, I tell you what, crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. The bifurcation between what's going on Wall Street and what's going on Main Street just continues to get more and more extreme. And I guess it's best shown just by looking at this SPY chart. We sell off on huge distribution, utter, utter capitulation at the lows. Do you see a huge volume surge to suggest that we've completely washed out the sellers? No. So what do? Of course, we then V-ramp almost all the way back to the old highs on no volume. Now on the SPY, we're running into the downtrending 200-day moving average. I guess that's the next logical resistance area. I can only assume that that's where we're going to find resistance before we pull back for just one day and then rally to new highs, because that's just what keeps happening. IWM continues to show strength. This is very impressive. Nice turn. Love to see the above average volume. This is something to work on, but you know, I'm not someone that chases moves like this, and you know, I don't know what to say anymore, guys. I really don't. It's what a weird life this is right now. But you can see on the DIA, you can see the sell-off on that huge volume. No huge volume at the lows to indicate a V-ramp reversal, but that's what we got. And as you can see, volume continues to come in, but the craziest one is the QQQ. This freaking thing is only 7.6% off all-time highs. Insane. Once again, huge volume on the way down, no volume on the way back up. But here we are at the old highs. So that's crazy. It's crazy. Before the sell-off, when the sell-off started to get underway in 2020, my drawdown from my account highs in 2019 were the worst since 2012. I haven't had so much trouble trading since 7 years ago. As the sell-off continued, luckily, not a big deal. Went completely cash at some point in March. It was right around this area. Might have been even earlier. No, it was in March, so it would have been right around here. Went completely cash. Turned out to be prudent, but now look at the market. What a reversal. But that being said, this year has been a nightmare for me and my methodology and a day basis. Remember, I live on Maui. Day trading full time. I've tried it, guys. I love it. Today, we're going to review two amazing moves intraday, and one stock I'm already long. I basically profited all the way out of it. I basically have nothing left. I have like 5% of my position left now, UAVS. But the other one, the only stock I was watching today, pre-market into the open, made over a 100% move, and we'll take a look at that. It's the only one I was watching. However, I couldn't stay awake. And because I couldn't stay awake and I can't trust the way that my orders are held at Interactive Brokers, I didn't take the trade, and I'll review that. But before we go review, I'm going to show you guys something that happened today for the first time since the middle of 2018. Let me pull up this chart. This is a QQQ chart. This is a monthly time frame. This is a time segment volume, that monthly TSV. I know it is very hard to see here, but trust me. Do you see that green line? It's above the red line on a monthly time frame. And if you look right around here in the pop-up box, it's going to show up. You're going to see the TSV lead line is above the signal line on a monthly basis for the first time in this index, at least, since September, October 2018. That tells me on NASDAQ positions, I can now increase size as long as there's no upcoming catalyst event. Mainly that's earnings, unless you're dealing with the biotech stock. Then it's phase 2, phase 3 data, PDUFA data. So as long as earnings aren't in play, if it's canceling perfect speculator quality, you better believe I'm going to start playing catch up when the signals show up. But that being said, more than likely, we're going to need a pullback and consolidation. I mean, this is a bit nuts. I don't know where we're at with the Fibonacci retracement level here with the NASDAQ. While we're above all the main ones, the 72.6 or whatever it is, 72.3 I think it is, that's not shown on here, so I guess that's the next logical resistance area. On the SPY on the daily, let me do my Fibonacci line since I got rid of it all. Like I said, the 200 simple moving average, which is lined up with the 100 simple moving average, and we're right at that 62% fib retrace level. So we do have some resistance. It would be nice to get a pullback, but if we don't get a pullback, hey, hopefully I get some great long signals. And unfortunately, this evening for gold members and people on StockTwits, I don't have any new long signals today, guys, of quality. I do have 2 speculative long signals for platinum members of the website. I want to remind everybody, my subscription cost is extremely low compared to anyone else I know out there. Don't see subscription services as low as mine that can then give you gains like this. Pull back up the telechart version 7 with the stock sign long. Once again, the arrow shows up the day after the signal if I get filled. So with UAVS, the funny thing with this one is this was the signal date, bullish hammer candle over candle, heavy above average volume, max green bop. This was an add signal. I'm so sketched out with the overall market that I don't add to my position in UAVS. Pretty unfortunate because even though my initial signal's doing well, could have been doubled up. But just to let you guys know what's possible with my methodology when things line up. And right now, things are not lined up. My methodology does not do good with a market that gaps up every fucking day. And it does not do good with a VIX over 30. And we still have a VIX over 30. But look at UAVS. That's a 290% gain in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. Insane. So on my other computer, I'm looking. I took more profits today on UAVS at 196 and then at 240. My final profit target, I believe, is going to be at the high of the day. I haven't even added it yet, but I'm going to add it to my position. Make it even with the only stop I'm going to have right now, which is today's low day at 92 cents. 269. If it hits 269, I'll be completely out of UAVS tomorrow. I'm not going to hold on to any more because I don't have enough, really. I mean, I guess it would be worth it to hold on, and maybe it'll go to 250. Maybe it'll go to 488, but I'm just going to go ahead and take profits and run if it gets around the 270 area. Actually, I think, let me check. I'm going to go check. I think I might actually have an order out there at $3. And I do. I have an order out there. Good to cancel sell limit order at $3 for the rest of my position. But there you go. 290% gain in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sessions. And that's normal in good market environments where things are lined up. But when things are happening like now, you know, you can't win them all. So while UAVS is awesome, VISL has also been awesome. But do you notice how there's no arrow here? And that's because VISL, despite being up 78%, 79% really in 4 days, I screwed the pooch on this one. When it triggered, this was the long signal. This was the day of the long signal. Gave it out to platinum members. Every platinum member had a chance to buy, set up their orders before I got in. Triggered on me this day. Did not fill. I think it either then pulled back. It would have had to have been that day. The same day. That same day when it triggered, it didn't fill. It pulled back in, triggered again, and for the second time did not fill. The next day, I had a chance to call the order back on when it got below my 0.1931, I believe was my stop and limit. Perfect price or no price on this. I did not call it back on. So unfortunately, due to the overall market and my current trading incompetence, I missed out on a 78% gain in 4 days. But it doesn't end there. This market is getting me left and right. RIVE was one of the best looking signals I've seen in a long time. Why? I've reviewed this to members already. That surge in volume and that surge in bop. Look at that right there. And that bullish engulfing hammer candle. I had a good to cancel buy stop limit order at 507. I did not give myself a limit offset of 5 cents to 512. Had I would have been filled. Instead, I decided to do the perfect price or no price. RIVE, brilliant setup. I see it again. I got that monthly TSV all lined up. I really load into this. But in 3 days, a 28% gain missed out upon. Starting to get the picture here. CLPR, we've already reviewed this one. Passed on it this day. Once again, notice the volume and bop surge at the bottom of your chart. Passed on it. Look at this one continue to do well. 18% gain in a stock that has a low overall beta. Then how about my botch trade in RCL? You see that one, right? My stop was right here. But on this day that I got triggered an entry, that I got filled on, guess who decided to be too cute with his stops? That's right. So you see the flag with RCL? That's because I'm tracking it on an end-of-day basis for members of all of the websites because it went out to gold members and it went out to StockTwits. And look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4 days, 30% gain. You're starting to see the power of this methodology when it works. How about CSOD? New long signal here. Notice the BOP volume surge. Gaps up on me. No fill. Nothing I can do about that. In 4 days, 13% gain, missed. Here's one that I did get long, and I took profits along the way up. Actually, you can see here, 2087, came pretty close. I decided to go ahead and get out early today. Took some more profits, 2028, it shows over here at Interactive Brokers, 2028. Those are the only two stocks that hit any sell stops or limits, and they were all limits. UAVS, UAVS, STOR, and that's it. But STOR actually filled in, worked out, and I'm still long STOR. 3 days, 27% gain. Not too bad. And then ATKR currently, this is one that I actually got filled on. That's a 15% gain in 1, 2, 3, 4 sessions. And there was a new long position yesterday of quality that triggered and filled today. It was one of 2 stocks that triggered and filled today. The other one was a speculative name, and that stock is up 4% in 1 day. So there's some pretty impressive gains out there, but my trading has been pure shit. I can't get long either via gap ups and or my size is too small and or I'm stopping myself out too early and or I'm balking at a re-entry level to get back in. My trading is personally at an all-time low. My confidence and conviction is basically at an all-time low because of the way this market trades. And my understanding of what I'm looking at from an overnight day-to-day basis is an all-time low, which is why I continue to tell all the members, day trade or die. It's really the only time frame I trust. And even though you see many long positions working, by the way, very few to none failing, how many 50% end of day sell signals do I have for members today? 0. How many 100% end of day sell signals do I have for members today? 0. And I'm tracking 30 names on an end of day basis. That being said, this still remains the only time frame I trust. So this is a SPY chart. Let's go over to the TSV 130 chart because that's what I use. And I want to show you the 2 stocks I was focused on today. You guys already know about UAVS. And so here's UAVS. Let's get down to a minute chart. We got the after hour stuff on there. Actually, you can see my Fibonacci on here. Let's take off the after hours and pre-market. So you know UAVS gapped up, ran a little bit. It's kind of hard to even see on this chart. Let's go 3 minutes. Best this way. So you can see initially it runs, heavy volume. You could do a Fibonacci. I always do Fibonacci retracement lines. Pull back, pulls back, makes a new high here, pulls back, and it holds the 23.6 before breaking out to new highs. You can see it was in a TTM squeeze. It's hard to see here, but the TSV 130 is uptrending along with the signal line. Comes out of its squeeze, pocket pivot point signal, and even if you would have just bought it at a new high break, you still, from the new highs to the top, got a 57% move there. Now, I'm already long UAVS, but this was one of only 2 stocks intraday following the morning when I went back to bed because it's impossible. If I wake up early, I stay awake. And so if I wake up at 1 a.m. and the market doesn't open to 3:30 a.m. and I stay up during that entire time after going to bed like around 9, I'm screwed. I'm totally screwed. I can't stay focused with all this end-of-day work. But the UAVS trade shows you how important the Fibonacci retracement levels are. They hold. You got that squeeze, comes out of a squeeze, PPO, TSV confirm. That's a 3-minute, but even better yet, look at this 1-minute chart when it's squeezing here. Let's go ahead and rewind it and get back here on this chart. And what do you see it doing in here? 2 yellow dots under its tightest squeeze, pocket pivot point signal. That was the real entry on the 1 minute if you're watching it. And as you can see, brilliant move. But that wasn't the main one today. This was the main one. After hours data turned off. So CLPR. Let me turn back on the after hours data. So stocks that have news right before the open are always the best whenever they're in play. They have a lower float. I think on Trade Ideas, this had like a 9 million share float. And on FinViz, this had an 11 million float. But if you don't know what happened with CLPR right before the open, they had bullish news. New data reports 100% survival in critical COVID-19 patients treated with CAP 1002. That's a major news catalyst. Major news catalyst. So, pops in the morning, sells off. But what I want to show everybody here is the line that I drew, this big, thick line right here. On a daily chart, do you see where that big, thick, where I got that line from? I'm going to take these off really quick. Do you see this high right here? It was gapping up above this high. I consider this major support. You see this 1 for 10 reverse split? Do you notice where these highs are? Same place. 385, 385. So I've identified this as major resistance that could now be support. We go to the 1 minute chart. We get the gap up. I'm going to go ahead and remove the pre-market data because I always have the pre-market data in line and show. What does that support level line up with? If you said the 50% retracement level, you're correct. From yesterday's close to the opening bell high pullback, CAPR found support right at that important daily resistance mark. That lines up right with the 50% retracement level. That also lines up with the critical $4 whole number. If you go long there, maybe you hold it up to VWAP on some of it. You take your 16% gain there, and then you hold it. And as long as it's above the VWAP, you let that sucker ride. You let that sucker ride until you see its first heavy volume, reversal. Maybe you finally get one there. Look at where it goes from that $4 level to the highs. A 160% plus move. Amazing. Even if you don't get it there, let's say you get it here at the new high break to those highs, you still got a 90% move. Let's say you don't get it there, and instead you see this consolidation midday. You see that volume surge. It's in a squeeze. Yes, the TSV wasn't lined up, but still, you're coming out of the squeeze. You're moving higher. You find support at the 9 EMA, then the 21 EMA, more importantly on the daily. You get back above there, and let's say you do that one. You still get a 44% move intraday. And this is why I continue to think that really the only safe time frame is intraday. But as you can see, because the lines were already drawn, I didn't have to redraw those. They were already drawn. CAPR, we'll now erase those, and UAVS. These were the only two stocks that I watched intraday, and they both made incredible moves. And when I mean watch intraday, I mean I woke up, made sure my intraday orders were good, saw what was moving, went back to bed, woke back up, saw that UAVS and CAPR are still holding up, drew my lines just so I could watch, just so I can get in the flow for those days that I actually do get to day trade for a living. God, I hope so. But you can see also breaking above a bull flag. You can draw the lines connecting these lows, and you can draw the lines connecting these highs, and CAPR explodes higher. But anyway, just wanted to make a longer video lesson because I continue to remove myself from my personal chat room intraday this week because all I'm going to do is just bitch about the way the market trades, and I just really don't want to do it. I want to focus on the trading. So I'll try to be back in the room tomorrow. I think I'm finally in the acceptance mode with what we have going on here. I'm so much so in the acceptance mode that I think that we're going to continue to V-ramp to new highs. And I posted some incredible charts after hours yesterday in the chat room about cash and money market accounts, the levels of bearishness in all about 20 different sentiment indicators. So, this entire bounce, the sentiment has remained bearish the entire bounce. It has not flipped bullish at all anywhere. 0% of the indicators are bullish. So until those start to get bullish, I don't see how we even pull in. If we pull in, it's definitely buyable for me. I've got a ton of support levels to work with. Fibonacci retracement levels. Once we do start to pull back, I'll add those. Fibonacci symmetry levels, I'll add those. But we're definitely living in an interesting time regarding the overall market. We'll see what happens. Platinum members, make sure you check out the speculative long page. I do have 2 new positions for tomorrow's session. Aloha.